of the DLO is to look after supporters at the club, whether that's ambulant disabled or supporters with disabilities in a wheelchair. I look after them on a day-to-day basis with any queries that come through to the club, either by email or over the telephone. I'm always on hand to answer any questions for them, any concerns or anxieties they have about attending the match day.
So it's just generally being more aware of your surroundings and where you are.
It's very important right now for Swindon Town Football Club to get behind the Disabled Supporters Association and improving the facilities at the stadium to make the county ground inclusive for all.
Following on from the sensory packs, that was just a great initiative. So overwhelmed with the response. Then we needed to look at something different. So I'm always looking for new projects. And then we were good enough to meet Charlotte, who was the author of the social story book. Susie and Sammy go to Swindon Town FC. We needed to do something different. We needed to make sure that we're able to cater for our autistic supporters, whether young or old, because obviously there is no age limit on it. So we followed on from that, and the story was so successful. We sent out over 200 books to SEN schools and also distributed them to local schools and libraries as well.
The sensory packs were well received by supporters, as were the story, and this just shows the great work that we have done as a football club for our disabled supporters, and this is something that we're looking to deliver again going forward and develop with our partners, sponsors and supporters.
So disability groups, so what we do is we meet once a month on a Thursday night normally at the club, and we have a general get together, tea, coffee, cakes, and sometimes we do the odd quiz, and then I tend to, because we don't get any funding, we generally do about 6 or 7 away trips a season, but it is so expensive for the Pacific coach that we need to be able to get the wheelchairs onto the coach. And our income is from the disabled kiosk, which is in the nationwide stand. So I took the role over about 4 years ago from a lady called Karen Cooper, who actually did an amazing job for so many years. It's quite a big passion of mine because I've got a disabled daughter as well, so it is a really big passion of mine to do what I do. And I do it just to see the smiles it puts on their faces, because some of these people, it's their relief, like it's their get out. So when I do away trips, we do like quizzes on the coach, have a good old sing-song on the coach. I mean, we've been singing a Sweet Caroline, and Phil Skeets, he always gets the coach going. So it's just that bit of enjoyment you see on their face, and that's why I do it.
I've been a Swindon Town fan pretty much all my life, really. Season ticket holder for about 17 years. So that's a decent chunk of time.
I've been a Swindon Town fan since I was little. I mean, not by choice, I guess, when I was younger. My dad used to take me to football games, and I remember sitting, like, when I was younger, I used to sit with my dad, his friend, and his friend's father, or his father-in-law, and I used to eat these like gummy worms and like watch the football, and those are like some of my earliest memories.
Basically, it's when we went to see Man City in the FA Cup.
Okay. And the goal he scored then?
Yeah.
That was some goal. And do you like his trademark celebration that he does?
Yeah.
Tell me who your favourite player is for Swindon.
Harry McCurdy.
Harry McCurdy's your favourite.
Yeah.
Why is Harry your favourite player?
Because he used to score goals for us. And that.
Did Harry McCurdy score quite a fair few goals
Yeah.
for Swindon during
Yes,
that
he did.
season?
Yeah.
Tell me your favourite Harry McCurdy goal.
When they was playing Gillingham at the away game. Yeah.
The one he just scored?
Yeah.
The one he scored in the last minute? Did you go to that game or did you watch it on TV?
I watched it on TV, like the schools on telly.
Yeah, like I said, I really like. I think that Charlie Austin goal was really good, and I celebrated like mad.
Very important. I feel like a bit out of place if I don't have the set routine. Even if it's changed a little bit, it's sort of, my dad tells me beforehand, or like I'm sort of prepared for those situations beforehand, so but it's normally the same, which then gives me comfort to know that it will be the same and that there's nothing that's going to jump out at me and I'm not going to have a panic attack in the middle of everyone's.
I have noticed that, not necessarily myself, but other people in a similar sort of situation, for instance, when the game is about, say, 10 minutes to go, or however long it may be, people tend to start wandering down and they will stand in front of the disabled enclosures, so people in the chairs can't see, having to say, like, get out of the way, sort of thing. Because obviously you can't see what's going on, might miss something important, you know. And that, I've noticed, is a bit of a frustration for everybody in this sort of situation.
I sometimes struggle coming through the little bits when you scan your card or a ticket or that little bit, like, because they've started now checking tickets outside, and that sort of thrown me off a little bit because sometimes people coming too close to me, I'm like, I don't know if they're going to touch me or if they're like how close they are getting to me, and it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. So sometimes I wear my sunflower lanyard and it sort of just tells people to back off a little bit. But for me, that's actually quite a big thing, because I feel like I don't know how to exactly respond in that situation. Like, so I sort of turned to my dad, and if my dad wasn't there, I'd be a little bit lost, because I'd be like, I don't know, like, if what they're actually looking for, or like if I'd done something wrong that I didn't know. But apart from that, it's been okay in that way. I think everything else is all right. It's hard as well when you come in, because there's loads of people walking up and down, and there's loads of people like walking up and down the stairs, and it's kind of narrow, especially when you're coming out of the game. So I guess I'd probably like to come at a time where it's not as busy and people have already gone to their seats, or it's early and there's not many people there. So that's sort of a big barrier for me, is a lot of people being around.
I think it's important to have a group like that within the club, because it obviously helps us out. It gives us a platform to sort of see what's good about the way disabled fans are handled within the club and things like that. Obviously it helps us massively, because it gets us out there, gets us heard.
Yes, I mean, when we write on the coach, we have some fun playing games, having a sing-song. We're also playing bingo and just to have a fun day on the coach, really.
Yeah, so it's vitally important, because some of our disabled fans, they don't tend to go to club if they've got any issues, so they're raising with me, and then I'll go and speak to our Cahalin at the club, and she will sort out any problems that I've got.
Myself and Lee, we've been working together now for 2 years while I've been in the role. We have a fantastic relationship. Like I say, the Disabled Supporters Group is just a wonderful group. It's all about building relations. What we have to remember is sometimes for our supporters, disabled supporters, when they come to these kind of group meetings and they come to the county ground, that could be the only time they actually get out of the house to come and enjoy football. So it's just building relations. Me and Lee just want to ensure that everybody that comes to the county ground, you know, is treated with respect. They enjoy their football and they're not overcome with any obstacles. So it's about relations, building relations with our supporters.
Realising that not every person is the same, even like you could meet me and then meet another autistic person, we'd be completely different because our support needs are very different, and that even if my support needs are a bit less than theirs, I don't need as much support, it's still important that I get the support that I need and they get the support they need, even if theirs is a lot of support and mine's not as much, but it's still important both ways, because mine can still cause a meltdown, theirs can still cause a meltdown, and it's sort of just being considerate of other people, I guess, that they might struggle in the way that you wouldn't, but it's just, I guess, realising that people aren't always the same, and something might be obvious to you, might not be obvious to someone else.
The more people are made aware of it, the more understanding there is going to be. But at the same time, like say with hidden disabilities as well, it's not so obvious. So it's just taking the time to engage with disabled supporters and just to find out what's going on, sort of how it affects them, that sort of thing, and what can be done on a match day to help them out.
I think just it's such a good environment for someone with a hidden disability, and people I think would think that it isn't because it can be overstimulating, which is true, but also it can be something that it's an unpredictable situation in football. The match is always unpredictable. You'll never know what the score is, but you can guess, but you'll never know until you watch it. So I guess for people coming together and encouraging people who have hidden disabilities to be able to go to a match and go, no, we'll support you, like if it's too much for you, we can help you, sort of come together to enjoy the match, because that is what everyone wants anyway when they go to a match. And I think it can bring people out of their shells, and it brought me out of my shell quite a lot, and it can be a good place for people to, encourage people to be excited and to, be allowed to stim and be allowed to show their facial expressions and be allowed to just be themselves freely and not worry about people looking at them funny or feeling like they're the only person who's feeling that way, because everyone's excited and everyone's, if there's a goal, everyone's up on their feet, so it's a good environment to sort of try and mask in a little bit, because you'll blend right in with everyone else, so you will not look different at all, which I think was a main thing for me.
It's what we do as a family, so it gives us a chance to get out with him and give us something to do on a weekend, so get him out the house, and he's really passionate about his football. A good number of seats available, so compared to other clubs. We tend to always have a steward for the away fans when they come. So we do that quite well. In comparison with other clubs, there are clubs that are better than us, there are clubs that are not as good as us, nowhere near. So I think we probably sit somewhere in the middle now. But yeah, can it be better? Yeah, of course it can. Personally, I would like to see a raised stand, so the disabled fans are not at ground level, that we've got somewhere that we can sit at a higher level and get the wheelchairs up above the pitch a bit more, so you haven't got people in front. We used to have a season ticket over in the town end, and you know how excitable the town end boys get, so they just come down to the front and we can't see.
They used to stand up in front of me so I couldn't see anything. When we had Manchester City here, all I could see was someone's back.
Yeah, I think they could do with a few more people that, sort of perhaps one on each gate, that if somebody's coming in for the first time or is an away visitor, doesn't know the place, to have somebody just to reassure them, that show them where things are, basically, and just to give them a bit of encouragement.
The away fans have always said about how nice the club is, and for those clubs that haven't been there before, been here before, and they say how nice everyone is.
Sensory room, I feel, would be just a great addition. We want to be inclusive. We say that all the time around this club, and we're always looking for new ways for children to come in and enjoy the game. And I can't think of anything any better than having a sensory room where sometimes it does get overwhelming for our younger supporters, and we currently have to find them safe spaces like a spare room. So to have a sensory room would be the ideal opportunity for them to have a good environment, somewhere they could play, somewhere they could feel safe without all that pressure and those anxieties.
A sensory room will be very important for the club, for the people of Swindon and for Wiltshire again. There are quite a few clubs in League Two that have got sensory rooms that we've had a look at, Walsall being a prime example of one that is done very well. So from our point of view, we've got to look at raising the money. We've got some sponsors who have already said that they will get involved. The supporters club have said they will get involved, and we have got to set up a GoFundMe to raise some additional funds as well, because this isn't a cheap room to build and maintain, and it's something we have to work on. So we have to look at sourcing as much revenue as possible for that room.
The level playing fields play such an important part across England and Wales. If it wasn't for these campaigns ongoing, then we wouldn't get the opportunity to be able to demonstrate as a club what we do for our disabled supporters. Most of our work is done in the background, and it's good to have these campaigns where it highlights, as a club, especially Swindon Town, how good we do here and the hard work that does go behind the scenes. All year round that happens, trying to find out new ways, to improve facilities for our disabled supporters.
It's very important that Cahalin and Lee continue to liaise with our disabled supporters to get as much feedback as possible on what we're doing at the moment, what's right, what's wrong, how we can improve. But also something that we take into consideration is the feedback of away supporters, disabled supporters who visit the stadium, because there's a lot of grounds, and in League Two there's a lot of grounds that have different facilities, and we need to try and aspire to be the best that we can be. There are a lot of regular meetings between clubs regarding this, and we're always listening to the information that we get, looking to be the best that we can be. My
message is to those supporters is come to the county ground. Myself and Lee are always accessible, we're always contactable. If they've got their anxieties where they're sat at home and they're thinking, I can't come, just contact us. There's ways that we can get around it. We're very accessible. We would love them to come to the county ground to enjoy the football here.
Swindon Town is an inclusive football club, and it's getting more inclusive by the day. We are always looking and listening to feedback that we get of supporters, so I'm encouraging as many supporters with disabilities to attend games. Let us know your feedback, and we can work together to take this club to the next level.